So Journey 2 was on Netflix, and I just decided to watch it because I wanted to relive some nostalgia. And this was an absolutely preposterous movie, and might just be like the most mediocre sequel of all time. So much so that I forgot Vanessa Hudgens was in this and actually like existed as a person. Okay, and I was really excited to see her again. So let's get into what's not that bad about Journey 2, The Mysterious Island. Hello, and welcome to another episode of It's Not That Bad with me, Jared, where we dive into some terrible movies and figure out what's actually good about them. And today is a doozy. Journey 2. Like the actual number 2, not like Journey 2 TO. So it's like Journey 2, the number 2, colon, The Mysterious Island. I got really confused when I was a kid seeing that movie. Journey to the Mysterious Island was this family-friendly action movie adventure back in 2012, right? And it is such a mid movie. I'm going to just say that right now. Very, 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 very mid. So forgettable that I forgot the entire cast. Like, I was like, I don't know who's in this, except for Josh Hutcherson, because he was in the first one, which was Journey to the Center of the Earth. The one with, like, Brandon Fraser. Amidst its mediocrity, there were some standout moments and points that I do want to like point out in this, right? This is a positive channel. So what's positive about this? First thing, the peck pop. Like other kids in 2012, this was my first introduction to what an actual peck pop was. I didn't know what did it mean to pop your pecs. You know, and I thought it was like some kind of lollipop back then. When I first saw the trailer for this, this specific moment was front and center in my mind because I was like, how is The Rock doing that? Is he like moving his shoulders too? But then I like replayed the trailer and I was like, it's just his pecs. How does that happen? So yeah, the peck pop of love, as The Rock coins it in this movie, is just iconic, and it'll probably go down as this movie's most memorable moment. I had no idea that pecs could pop just like that. And this was just a tiny piece of knowledge about the human anatomy that I learned. And I was like, oh, this is such a great positive thing, because I had no idea pecs could do that. When I was semi-shredded in college, not semi-shredded being like I had like pecs that would pop out, I would often do that with myself. I was like, oh, like I understand it now. So this was also another huge revelation, another embarrassing fact about me. You might be like, how did this guy get a wife? Well, based on just my good looks and charm. Just pure charm and winks. No peck pops. Second, I'm starting to realize that this was the first movie I saw Dwayne sing in. That's right. This was pre-Madonna, or was it not? Pre-Moana. And it was this cute ukulele scene that The Rock, he just plays a ukulele. And you see this like monster of a man holding this like tiny ukulele, right? And Josh Hutcherson is just sitting there like getting all healed because he had just like sprained his ankle or whatever. And Michael Caine, by the way, is in this, and here's like he passes this ukulele to The Rock, and he's like, hey, play some music for us, you know, it helps heal people. And The Rock just kills it, right? It's also like this cute little song, like it's this whole bonding moment. And they also feature it at the end of the movie. And that was when I was like, man, The Rock can sing. This doesn't sound like it's like fully auto-tune. It sounds just like him, and maybe he should do a musical. And he eventually ended up doing Moana, and I want to believe that I manifested that when I first watched this movie. So this is me starting to realize that most of the good moments in this movie really do come from my own nostalgia. Third and final point, they packed a lot of ridiculous moments in this script. I don't think I've seen a script packed with like such mediocre jokes and scenes. And I'm about to name off a lot, about to name off a few here. One being all of Luis Guzman's scenes and all of his jokes. Vanessa Hudgens being like this cringy teenager. Extremely mid. Same goes with Josh's character though, because he sometimes he was just being mean to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in this movie, which by the way is his stepfather. That brings me to another point. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as a stepdad. That's like a. I feel like that's another thing I need to unpack. The fact that they said thunder cookie, that weird gaslighty dynamic between Michael Caine and The Rock, because Michael Caine's daughter in this movie married The Rock. A little strange. Because I mean, in the previous movie, Josh Hutcherson's dad had died in some volcanic incident, whatever. Obviously, the peck pop, very mediocre but iconic. The giant lizard scene where they walk on the giant lizard's eggs, but they didn't know they were eggs because they just looked like rocks, and Lewis's character was like, we're literally walking on eggshells. Harpooning a giant eel. Dwayne Johnson's character being in the Navy and making this makeshift oxygen tank with a plastic Ziploc bag. I don't know if people do that. I really should look it up. But that seems a little far-fetched to me. That giant bees and birds scene. Wait, hold on. Not that kind of scene. Not that kind of scene. They literally had a scene where the crew is riding this giant bee, and the bee is being chased by an equally proportionate giant bird. And that scene just sounds... Birds and bees. That sounds ridiculous. Guys, this list sounds ridiculous. But my point is, people in the 2020s don't do this anymore. And obviously, writing has gotten somewhat better, but it's rare to find this type of ridiculousness. And that's what made the 2010s movies ridiculous, and even in the 2000s, more ridiculous, slightly fun, and more, and they gave it more character. Man, I kind of miss those kinds of movies, right? Who's with me?